everybody to our live stream.
We're the Waterstreet Blues Band, and this is Talking About Live, coming at you every Wednesday at 9 p.m. and apparently it's 6 p.m. out on the West Coast somewhere.
I wonder why we need to know that.
I'm not sure why we need to know that information.
Hey!
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's great. I'm Rob. I'm the guitar player in the Waterstreet Blues Band. We're so glad that you can join us tonight.
I'm Sylvia. I play keys and squeeze, accordion that is.
I'm Paul. I take care of all of the business. I take care of all of the gigs. I take care of the money. I take care of all the cash. And I take care of our finances generally. Okay. I also play bass. And I'd like to introduce I'd like to introduce a very special member of the band who I have to admit there's been a lot of conflict between us. You know that, don't you? Between me and Fluffy.
Oh. Well, over time,
we've come to terms with everything now that he's gone on holidays. We're totally good. And we're going to be embarking on some new business ventures. And I'm really excited about this. We're going to talk about this later. It's kind of a... Come here, buddy. Come here. We're going to make money.
For those who don't know, why don't you introduce Fluffy?
Fluffy is our... he is the show. He is the entire... It's really the only substance to the show. Fluffy's our technical engineer. He's our accordion tech. Yeah. Fluffy does all the dry cleaning, pick-up stuff. He does all the production in the show. He's a heck of a rabbit.
Yeah, he's multi-talented and lovely ears.
So also, guys, we have an amazing show coming up tonight. We're really proud tonight to have a lot of Fred heads watching us to start with. Hello out there to you Fred heads. And those of you who are Fred heads know what that means. And what it means is that Fred Penner is on the show tonight, the beloved and celebrated family entertainer who a lot of our kids grew up with and who we all love. And it's really an honor to have him on the show. And it really speaks to the variety of this show and the quality of programming. And we have another guest here.
The cat. The cat came back.
Be careful with Fluffy, eh? Let's not get them both up at the same time.
Wait.
Uh-oh. Fight.
No.
Who wants to see a fight?
Friends.
Come on, guys. Participate.
They're friends.
No, they're friends. Okay, all right. Anyway, we've got a great show lined up. And over to you, Rob.
Well,
Sylvia. No, Sylvia's turn now.
No, not quite. In addition to having Fred Penner on the show, which is something we're all really stoked about, it's also Taj Mahal's birthday this week, and we're going to be doing a special vintage vinyl selection of choice Taj Mahal albums. So that'll be happening following our conversation with Fred.
Right.
We're all big Taj Mahal fans, and there's a connection to town. Anyway, we've got an amazing show. I'm not sure we deserve this show, in all honesty. Sylvia, over to you.
Well, we do a little community shout-out every week.
Do the fuzzy stuff.
Yeah, and this week we're talking about that 2021 is the year of the health and care worker. And we'd like to express our gratitude, of course, at this time. Here's a mural by Alexa Elliott expressing gratitude in Toronto. We say thank you. You know what? We say thank you to each other and to the community by going ahead with vaccination as soon as you can. And of course, we also say thank you by wearing a mask and washing our hands and hashtag baby be strong, like anybody's gonna do that. And stay home, of course. And then
be wrong.
And stay back, Paul. Stay back.
It's just
and you know, the most unsung hero for us is children. And this pediatrician has pointed out to us that children are the unsung heroes of this pandemic. They've adapted to Zoom. They've worn masks. They've washed their hands a million times, and we know this. We've seen it, and they're doing it all with a smile. So thank you to all the wonderful, brave children throughout all of this, too. And
that means she's thanking you and me too, Rob.
Yes, because your children at heart.
Well, you know, Sylvia really needs to corral us every so often.
We're heroes. We're heroes, like the children. We're heroes. We have
right in the middle of the pandemic, we really made a fabulous career move. We released our second record in August of 2020, and that record is also the same name as the show. It's Talkin' About, and we would love to give away a free digital download of that record to someone who can answer our very difficult and always, it's a
All
very
right, Professor.
It's a very difficult blues quiz today. And the blues quiz, and it's sort of in honor of our guest, Fred Penner, who's such an iconic family entertainer. But which iconic blues singer released an album on the Smithsonian Folkway label? So
it's that much too.
Yeah, it's a really treasured record label, and the album is called Sings for Children. So if you have the answer to that question, so it's which iconic blues singer released an album on the Smithsonian Folkway label, and the album is called Sings for Children. So if you can let us know in the comments, and we can send an album out to you. And let's see if we've got anybody who is.
Okay, let's do the contest. Ready? Go.
Okay. That's awesome.
Come on, guys.
Special
Who can
effects.
Google faster?
Well, I don't have any guesses right now, but we do have a bunch of people who are tuning in. So, hey, Brett, how you doing? Glad you could join us, and yes, we can't wait for Fred either. We're really looking forward to his appearance on the show. No, Dave, it was not Gary Glitter. And Ruth, it's not Chris Beck. It's not Fred Penny. Ruth, it's not Gary Presley. Joanna, hey Joanna, how you doing? You don't know the answer, but really glad you're tuning in tonight. Thank you.
Nice try, Joanna.
Thank you so much for
nice effort
for tuning in.
You tried hard.
It's Mary. It's not Taj Mahal. It's just an older. This is
you have to go back in time.
He recorded the album in the 1940s. There's a big hint for you.
Yeah.
See if you can get.
No,
that.
sorry, Mary, you're totally wrong.
So I think it's getting time for our guest to. Yeah, I think it's about time for us to introduce our guest.
Already, it's already that time.
That's right. We're really thrilled. We're honored to have Fred Penner on our show. For those who don't know Fred, and there's nobody who's watching this show who doesn't know Fred Penner, but four-time Juno Award winner. He's been the recipient of the Order of Manitoba, and he's a member and a recipient of the Order of Canada. Very, very, very well deserved. He's toured the world. He's an ambassador for many philanthropic agencies associated with children, World Vision, UNICEF, UNESCO, and he's a Canadian national treasure, and we're so thrilled to have him. So before he comes on, though, we're going to ask Fluffy. Fluffy, can you go knock on the green room door, and if you can let Fred know that he needs to come into the production studio. And in the meantime, we'll play a song, recent release by Fred.
Okay, let's do
To
that.
listen to what we say. Brothers and sisters, side by side, doing what must be done. Building a house, a brick at a time, under the moon and sun. Somebody believes in, somebody believes in, somebody believes in you. Somebody believes in, somebody believes in, somebody believes in you.
brothers and sisters, side by side.
Oh my God!
Hello,
Welcome to the
brothers
show.
and sister.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining us.
Thank
Fred.
you. Welcome to the show, Fred. That was
Thanks, Paul.
a really heartwarming video and a beautiful music. Please tell us about the video, Fred.
Well, the video was based on a song that I wrote a number of years ago. About 15 years ago now. Can't believe it was that long. My son Damien and I have four kids, and Damien and I went to Africa with World Vision. I was asked to be one of those celebrity guests to travel to a third world and to do a program to encourage child sponsorship in third world countries. And we ended up going to a little village called Kolomo in Zambia, very, very close to Zimbabwe. We actually saw the Victoria Falls, which are totally off topic. Well, it's slightly connected, but we went to the Victoria Falls on both the Zimbabwe and Zambia side of the river. So it's a spectacular part of the world, and such tragic things are happening there. But we went to this little village of Kolomo and spent 3 days there talking to people, making a program called What a Day, which it may still be airing on World Vision, as I said, encouraging people to sponsor children in the other part of the world. So because I was part of the World Vision experience, they invited me to Vancouver about 5 years ago now to be part of a celebration for other sponsors who had come into the World Vision world. And one of the people who was there presenting to the attendees, his name was Edgardo, and he is from the Philippines. And he got up there. There were maybe 30 or 40 of us in this room, and I sat there and I had my little notepad out as I usually do. And he started talking, and he was one of the most animated people I've ever seen. He just was so in love with life, and so delighted that World Vision had come to the Philippines and had basically rescued he and his family from a life of poverty, and he now works with World Vision, and he's just an exceptional guy. But in the course of his conversation, he used the phrase, "Somebody believed in me, and that's why I'm here today to share my story with you." And I thought, oh, I'm always on a quest for a good song lyric. And somebody believes just made such sense to me. So after his presentation, I went back to my hotel room, and within probably less than an hour, I had the foundation of the song, and I finished it off the following morning. And then that evening, we sang it for the audience. And I had some of the volunteers came up, and they beautiful voices. So I taught it to them beforehand, and we sang it together. And I didn't tell Edgardo what I had done, and he started hearing this song and realized it was about his experience, and he just ran up on stage.
Really personal experience.
And he started crying. I mean, it was a very emotional world. So as time went by, I have a videographer in Winnipeg. His name is Aaron Floresco, and he's done a number of videos and biopics for me. And he took on the job of creating that video that you saw at the beginning, and that airs. I mean, that's on the World Vision site. That's on YouTube. You can find it in many places. But it was a very powerful experience, and I appreciate your playing it. Thank you.
Yeah, and Fred, I wanted to say what's striking about the video is the reaction in, like, a really honestly joyful reaction in those kids' faces. And only you can bring that there. That's you just brought them a little bit of you, and that's what you've done with kids for many years, and you've put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces. Also, yeah, You've obviously been living a very mindful life, and you've very mindfully coupled that music and that song with the video, and I really appreciated that. Now you had looks like some terrific players. Can you tell us about your colleagues there on that video playing with you?
Well, the song was produced by my longtime friend and traveling companion, Paul O'Neill is his name, and he's just a wonderful musician, and so he did the orchestration of that. He put the pieces together, and we called in our dear friend Joey Landreth, who, if your listeners, if your viewers don't know the name Landreth, Landreth, from Winnipeg, very, very talented people. Their dad's a talented player as well. And so we asked Joey if he wanted to participate, and because he's part of that generation that grew up with me, and being a Winnipegger, he was delighted. And the first young woman that you see, her stage name is Begonia, and she was again delighted to be part of it. Actually, look up Landreth and Begonia, and you'll get a beautiful eyeful and earful of their wonderful music. So they came in, and we brought in a couple of choirs, and the backup singers, are just young ladies who have been part of the music scene in Winnipeg, and we all just came together for the common goal of creating something that we felt strongly about, and I'm just very proud that it saw the light of day.
Yeah, and you were saying that that's available on YouTube, and I think we should put a link. I'd like to put a link to that video after the show, and it's just really, really inspiring, Fred, and very touching. I know that my wife and I have been supporting a family through World Vision for many years, and I knew that you were connected to that. And it's just a joy to see the joy in those kids' faces with you there. You're really an ambassador for all Canadians when you do things like that, and we thank you. We thank you very much. I'm going to ask you to if you could play a tune for us, but first talk about why you chose the tune. This is kind of a test we do with everybody, but you could tell us why you chose the tune and why you thought it was. Why you wanted to play it today. I can see it's sunny out there, and it's beautiful in British Columbia.
It is a beautiful day. My wife and I have been here on Vancouver Island for a couple of years now, and it's just an amazing part. We have half an acre of green that we are stewards of, and Ray Ellen is my wife, and she is really embracing the land and planting and growing stuff. And we've got Brussels sprouts and broccoli and kale and spinach and chard, all just outside of my door here.
Beautiful.
So we will be fed well this coming year. So the song that I would like to share with you connects with my work with many organizations, as Rob was saying at the beginning. I've contributed and been part of the UNESCO and World Vision and many different organizations and global organizations based in Canada. But the deepest connection that I have with any of these organizations is the Canadian Down Syndrome Society. Because my sister, Susie, she was born with Down syndrome. And she was just one of the most vital people in my life who just because of her energy and her love of music got inside of me as a teenager, realizing how powerful music truly is, for all of us, but especially for supporting the Down syndrome world. So I wrote a song a number of years ago, and it's actually on the Hear the Music album, which is my latest project, or my latest Juno award-winning project. And I visited a conference in Ottawa years ago. It was a Down syndrome conference, and it was called Celebrate Being. They gave the conference a title, and I thought, well, as I said, always in a quest for a good song lyric, and Celebrate Being was there. So I wrote this tune. Celebrate being.
Thank you.
Being a dreamer. Celebrate being real. Celebrate being good friends, telling each other how you feel. Celebrate being happy. Celebrate being proud. Celebrate being effervescent, shouting your name out loud. Do 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 do. Everyone is welcome. We are people first, and there's no denying it. We'll keep on trying. Turns out better when we're together. I like your style 'cause you make me smile. Celebrate being gentle. Celebrate being kind. Celebrate being filled with love, letting your love light shine. Everyone is welcome. We are people first, and there's no denying it. We'll keep on trying. Turns out better when we're together. I like your style 'cause you make me smile. Celebrate being gentle. Celebrate being kind. Celebrate being filled with love, letting your love light shine. Yeah, celebrate being filled with love, letting your love light shine, letting your love light shine.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, positive song. Fred, when I told the members of my old band and still current band, the Cast Iron Potty band, that I was going to be having this conversation with you, they said, I asked them, what question should I ask Fred Penner?
Oh.
and they said, and I thought it was a really great question because when you were growing up, there wasn't a Fred Penner. But what children's music did you listen to when you were growing up? What children's music was filling your world as a young child?
Yeah, the music, because there weren't children's entertainers per se. There were family entertainers.
Right.
You know, people like Danny Kaye and Ray Bolger and Red Buttons and Red Skelton, even. You know, names that I'm sure many of the generation don't know. But I would listen to a lot of radio on CJOB. They'd have a story time, and I would, flip on my little rocket. Hey, Rob! Finally, I can say this to somebody, and maybe you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly where you're going with this.
The rocket pistol sets.
Absolutely.
It was about 4 or 5 inches high. It looked like a rocket ship,
Totally.
and the cone was actually the needle. I've said this a couple of times, and people just get this blank stare because nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I'm with you 100%.
But you pull the needle up, and you set it to the station, right? So I set it to CJOB, and there would be this absolutely wonderful storyteller named the Great Gildersleeve.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
And you remember? Oh, good. We're connecting it. So I would listen to stories. Danny Kaye would come on sometimes and sing songs. There were folk singers back then who did sort of classic children's songs. So people like Pete Seeger or Ellen Jenkins, and there were some folk groups who got into that. They weren't considered necessarily children's entertainers. But that was the music that I was listening to, more the storytelling direction, and I didn't really connect or even think I would follow this path until much later in life.
Well, you were talking about your sister Susie and what an impact that she had on you. I'm sure she had a massive impact on your desire to play music and to have music come into other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
some of the other questions that the Cast Iron Potty Band wanted me to ask you is we all went to Kelvin High School. Mind you, you were a few years ahead of me in Winnipeg. I think you were in my older sister's year, and then.
Oh yes, fine. Barb.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you started playing solo. You were playing pubs and hotels, and then you got into a comedy band called Cornstalk. and I went in my basement.
Oh, there it is.
And I found this. Tell us a little bit about.
You should hold that up for a bit so people could see.
No. Apparently, it wasn't a strong enough connection that you'd have it framed. You had it rolled up in your basement somewhere.
But I still have it.
But you still got. Yeah, that's right. I won't diss you for that. That was. That was really a formative time of my life. Certainly, my dear pal Al Simmons and I, who I expect you've had on the program a couple of times. But Al and I were in Air Cadets together. You know, when all the other teens were going to the community centers and seeing the Fifth and the Guess Who and Neil Young and those folks, we were marching on the parade square out at the Air Force Base. But in 1972, 73. Another friend of ours from Air Cadets, Albert Patnaud, who you may have known, but we met. We're good friends, and we were talking, and he said, "Oh, Al." I said, "How's Al doing?" He said, "Oh, he was in a band called Out to Lunch,
yes,
and they had broken up, and he was looking for new players to start up a new band." So that was the connection, and Al and I talked, and we were always very good friends, and so I started pitching my song ideas to him, and he was very flexible, and we had a bass player and drummer, and we formed Cornstalk, the comedy show band, and toured from we got as far west as Calgary and as far east as Halifax, where we did a TV program called The Sunshine Hour. We did a number of episodes for that, and the insanity was absolute. You know, Al takes no prisoners. When he's on stage, he commands absolute attention, and he's the kind of guy. Once you get me started on this, you're in big trouble, Rob. We could be talking for another hour on this. But Al was the kind of guy who was he was able to shift gears really quickly on stage. You know, if he felt at any moment, and I'll tell you this one thing, and then you can move on. But at any moment in the show, if he did not feel like the audience was really with him, he would stop cold, stop the music, stand in front of the audience and say, "Number 4." And the audience is doi, doi, doi. Number 4 was our cue to get our Snap, Crackle, Pop hats out.
Oh, the Rice Capades.
That's right. Snap. What a happy sound. Snap is the happiest sound I've found. You can clap, rap, tap, slap, but snap makes the world go round. Snap, Crackle, Pop, Rice Krispies. And we had the hats that those characters had. And we did the commercial. And the audience went nuts because it was a total non sequitur from what we were doing beforehand, and it just drew the audience in again. And yeah, so it was a wonderful opportunity to be with Al in particular, and I learned just so much about stage presentation and performance. And yeah, he's a dear friend. Thank you for that question.
Musically, the band was amazing, and I noticed you, and I noticed your guitar, and I noticed your guitar playing and your singing in that band, and that guitar apparently has a story. That's a beautiful, beautiful Gibson Hummingbird.
It is a beauty. It's a 1950, I think 54 thereabouts.
Wow.
It's it really is my favorite instrument. So in 1968, 69, I was on the quest for a good guitar. I had a couple of cheap instruments. I had an old Framus and an old Stella guitar was my first instrument. And I thought maybe it's time to get something a little bit better. So I flipped through Free Press, the Winnipeg Free Press, our lovely newspaper, and there were always like 3, 4, 5, 10 columns of musical instruments, and I wish I could go back to see all those great instruments that were for sale. But there it was, Gibson Hummingbird guitar, $225.
Wow.
And I thought, damn, I don't have that much, but I can maybe beg, borrow from some friends, and I got enough money, and I called up the guy, went to see him at an apartment over on on Arlington, close to Ellis, between Portage and Ellis on Arlington, in an apartment block on the west side. I go in, the guy introduces himself. Hi, my name is Mr. Cummings. Maybe you've heard of my son, Burton.
No kidding.
And I said, oh, really? That's the deal, is it? So this guitar was purchased from Burton Cummings' papa.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so I suspect he played it for Burton somewhere along the way. So I like that story.
Oh, that's
it's a good history.
That's got good mojo.
Right, exactly.
And then as you were playing, you and your brother apparently were looking through music books, and you found a song called "The Cat Came Back," and you started playing that because it's got such a great riff to it. And there's a really cool story about how that song came to be recorded.
Well, it started. Yes, there is. I learned it from an old folk song encyclopedia. Jerry Silverman was not an author, but he would collect songs and put them into these encyclopedias. And my cousin David Hogue and I, Winnipeg pal, and my brother Terry and I, we were flipping through, as you said, and we found "The Cat Came Back." That E minor D C B7, that beautiful circle pattern.
It's gorgeous.
And I had been doing a number of shows with my then wife. I've now remarried, but Odette was her name, and she was had started a children's dance theater company in Winnipeg in 1977, and this is post Cornstalk time.
Right.
And we developed these shows that we would do in the school system or theaters like Prairie Theater Exchange or the Manitoba Theater Workshop. And at the end of one of these performances, I'd written the music, Odette had choreographed, but at the end of one of those shows, a doctor and his wife, Dr. Martin Reed and his wife Valerie, they approached me and asked if I had a record. And at that point, I had no idea how to even begin to do that. And they said that they really liked my voice and thought that I should do a record. And this is the critical time of the industry when Sharon Wilson Bram and Raffi had already begun. And so he said, why don't you do a children's record? So I thought, well, what songs would I put on a children's record? And he basically gave me a blank check, whatever it costs, do it.
Wow.
It ended up costing about $8,000. And I made the Cat Came Back record with some original tunes, Ghost Riders in the Sky, and of course the signature song of The Cat Came Back. And I brought in Al Simmons played on some of the tunes, and we had it pressed, and within 6 months I was able to sell enough to pay the benefactors back, and that I've never looked back from that day, 1977 to now. It's been a constant ride, that's for sure.
And you paid off the guitar.
I paid off the guitar, yeah, finally.
And it is now your song. You own it. It is Fred Penner's song. And from there, then you then had an opportunity to do TV, and you did it for quite some time.
Yeah, I connected, after I did, or actually when I was in production with The Cat Came Back, I met Raffi at a library conference in Winnipeg, and we had a chat, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I've just finished, or we're almost finished an album." He said, "Oh, great, when you're done, send us a copy, and maybe we can do some business." So I did that, and they were looking to expand Rafi's label called Troubadour Records, and they loved what they heard and my energy, and before long I was a member of that team, and Ken Whiteley was part of that run, and Ken became producer. I'm sure you know Ken.
Ken's wonderful.
Yeah, he's an amazing soul. So we did the album. Troubadour took it over. 5 years. We did 3 more albums beyond that, and then Rafi was moving into the States to build his career down there, and he was just ready to do it on his own. He didn't want to take anybody else with him. So we were cut loose from his operation, and coincidentally, as much of my life is gone, CBC phoned me out of the blue because they had been watching me performing at festivals across the country, and they liked what I was doing. So they said, "Would you like to do a TV series?"
Wow.
And I don't know if that would ever happen again. And I said, "Well, sure, but how do I do that? What do you want?" And they said, "What would you like to do?" And basically put the whole thing in my lap, and that caused me to do what I do, is a little soul searching to figure out what direction I would take a TV series, and came up with the log, came up with natural environment. Some of the writers came up with the word bird, yep. And before long that machine was put in motion, and 13 years later, almost 1,000 episodes, 55 million people in the States saw it for 3-4 years.
On Nickelodeon.
So it went. It did quite well.
Oh, I should say. And then after Fred Penner's Place, you then discovered the world of the universities, the university audiences.
Yeah, Mr. Dress Up actually was a bit of a catalyst for that, because after Fred Penner's Place was done, I started to wonder whether my career was ready to slow down and grind to a halt.
Never. Because
that was such a critical part of my life. And then I'd heard that Mr. Dress Up had been going to universities at lunch hour and doing presentations for the students. And I thought, well, I don't really want to do lunchtime. I come from the bar scene, as you so rightly pointed out. And let's go back there. Let's try pushing for the evening shows in the bars. And initially I talked to Paquin Entertainment, my booking agency, and said, try pitching me to the buyers for these universities at one of the COCA conference. And so they tried that, and the buyers at first said, "What are you talking about? Fred Penner at the university? It does not compute." And then they talked to the students, and the students said, "Yeah, let's try that." And so the first gig I did after that was for 400 students at the Pit Pub at UBC. And the place was jammed to the rafter. They'd never had that many people in that bar, apparently ever. And it was nuts. These kids were all reduced to 5 years old, and they were just the most delightful audience I've ever played for. And then that opened up dozens of gigs from Victoria all the way to Halifax.
And the legions of Fred heads were born, and then they had kids, and then you have this ability to sort of morph through the multi-generational wave.
I hope that's true. I wanted to, I didn't think of myself ever really as a children's entertainer, only. I thought of myself as a family entertainer, as a human entertainer. Yes. I had a number of skills. I had some pretty good guitar work that I could bring to a young adult audience who would say, "Oh yeah, this guy has some chops. He knows how to play." Absolutely. And so it just kept building from there, and I'm just so amazed that this career has been able to span 4 decades plus. It's crazy. It's crazy, I tell
It's
you.
wonderfully crazy. Fred, would you grace us with another tune? We'd love to if you'd play one more song for us.
You think I would have thought this through? There's a song that I wrote for Winnipeg, and because I'm missing the city so much, or I haven't been back there for since March of last year. It's and my kids and grandkids are there, and this is a Winnipeg song, and I wrote it for Assiniboine Park. The next time you go back, go to the Children's Garden,
Yes.
which is right beside, is just west of the pavilion. And it used to be, it was a big sandbox and a couple of swings. And that's where I played, excuse me, when I was growing up. And it was just a beautiful part of the world. And now the Richardson Foundation came in and they turned it into this garden, places to crawl. So like Fred Penner's place,
Beautiful.
crawling through logs.
Beautiful.
And it's called the Children's Garden, so that's what I'll share with you now.
Thank you.
The sun will rise and the moon will set in the Children's Garden. Best friends since the day we met in the Children's Garden. Protected by a serpent king, a band of frogs who love to sing. I tell you now, the play's the thing in the Children's Garden. Awesome feelings every day in the Children's Garden. Jump and run, swing and sway in the Children's Garden. A journey to the other side, something you have never tried. Through the water, down the slide in the Children's Garden. Once the gate is open and the city's left behind, your Assiniboine pioneers, treasures you will find. Imagination comes alive, hear the sounds of life. A world of wonder waits for you, the prairie paradise. Plants and flowers smell so sweet in the Children's Garden. In this world you are complete in the Children's Garden. Come on in, stake your claim, pick a partner, play a game. Mother Nature calls your name in the Children's Garden. In the Children's Garden. In the Children's Garden. In the Children's Garden.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, I could see City Park as you were singing that.
What's that?
I could see City Park as you were singing that.
Have you been to the Children's Garden, Rob?
Not since the Richardson family did it. I remember the garden with the boy with the boot.
Yeah, that's on the other side. That's the Leo Mall garden is out that way. This is immediately to the left of the pavilion, just west of it. Yeah, if you go there, it's really a very calming place to go. You know, when Paul was talking about mindfulness, that's a place where that brings back so many gentle memories for me. It is a place that I honor.
I've now added it to my list because I will visit my sister there real soon.
It's a great song talking about the outdoors, especially now for kids. It's also good for mental health to be experiencing plants and flowers in a quiet time. The way things
are. Exactly. Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. Thanks for pointing that out.
It's a beautiful song. And also, I think for the Cat Came Back, you were on a anniversary tour, I think, just before everything shut down. I don't know if that was
this was the 40th anniversary of the Cat Came Back. And we developed a beautiful series of videos for the presentation, and it was just going so very well. Lovely response, beautiful audiences, and we got as far as Edmonton on March the 13th, 2021.
Right.
And we were at the Winspear Theatre, which is one of the most beautiful spaces I've ever been in. About 2,000 seats, and we had an audience who was ready to come out. And about 2 hours before showtime, the Alberta Health Authority said, "Sorry, we got to shut this down."
2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was right. It was right down to the wire. And so we packed up our stuff, and I headed back to the island, and Paul was with me, plus my cousin David Hogue, who was part of the discovery of Cat, came back. He was running the show with me, and so they went back to Winnipeg. I came here and have been here ever since. And in 2022, we'll pick up sort of where we left off. We've got probably another 10 or more dates that we'll be trying to fit in 2022.
So everybody,
all these performers will be saying, "What was that last gig I did before COVID-19? I remember that gig, and then everything shut down."
Well, yeah, that's become the where were you when
Exactly.
kind of thing. Eh?
What was your last gig?
The last gig was Calgary.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, just beforehand. We were going to come back to Red Deer, and then that was it.
Well, we put the website up. So
but it's been a very strange thing, hasn't it?
It has been. It has been strange, but you know what? There's a big light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, hotels. Yeah, renting cars. Yeah, traveling for hours. Oh, it sounds like a fun.
No. We have to take some of this peaceful mindfulness with us when it does open up.
Yeah,
that's a really important
message. My wife Ray Ellen is a mindfulness instructor, and she's just a very, very gentle soul, and she works with actors, helps them find their core, their base, and so we've done. She's helped me into the meditation world, so I now do that every morning. I have some focus time before I start my day, and it really is critical to be mindful of who you are, where you are, what you are doing. Take your time. Don't rush anything. There's nothing that needs to be done immediately. Take your time and do it right.
That's a great message.
Wise words, very wise words.
And it'll be on your website when that tour does start up or anything else is happening?
Yes, indeed. FredPenner.com, and you can drop by and pick up a Fred Penner T-shirt.
Ooh.
That is a wonderful
T-shirt.
They're all available online.
Fantastic.
And I've got CDs and books.
And your new,
I've got a music book and the bump book are available there as well.
This album here that you can also get. And it's fredpenner.com/shop. Shop until.
Sorry?
Yeah.
And the bump book.
The bump book, yes.
Yes,
we've given
the bump book and play along, sing along, music book based on the first 4 albums. But it'd be nice to hear from some of your viewers, listeners. Drop me a line. There's an email connection at the website, so I'd love to hear from you.
All right,
see what you're up to.
Fred, it's been our just a huge pleasure. It's been so wonderful to have you, that you've been able to join us on the show, and we just want to say thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you very much, Rob and Sylvie and Paul. It's a delight to be with you. This has been a fun little trip down memory lane, so they say.
Yeah.
And I hope we can do it again sometime. I enjoyed speaking with you.
And
you're doing very important work, Fred. Thank you.
And
you're a gentleman, Paul. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of purpose to what you're doing. We appreciate that because we're completely aimless.
I wouldn't want to say
Have a great summer. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy the flowers.
Yes.
All the best to you guys. Just be full of joy. You have a great time.
I will. We will. Thanks so much, Paul. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Sylvia.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Till then.
Mwah.
All right.
Kisses.
Okay, Fluffy's going to take you to the green room, and Fred's going to be cheering for the Montreal Canadiens. Who's playing tonight?
No.
Who's playing the Jets tonight?
Jets.
Edmonton.
The Edmonton
That's
Oilers are.
The game has begun. I'm going to go and check it out.
Go Jets,
Okay,
go.
well,
Okay, kids.
Go
I'm shutting
Jets.
down. I'm shutting down. Here comes the big hand.
Okay. Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Pat.
Well, thanks everybody for sticking with us. We're gonna, we said at the top of the show that it's Taj Mahal's birthday, and for those who are new to the show, we usually go through some vinyl, vintage vinyl, a massive collection Paul has. And Paul, why don't you kick it off, because it's Taj Mahal's birthday today. Oh, and who else's birthday it is? Arthur. Hey, Arthur. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Arthur.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
to
Arthur.
Cheryl Ann. Cheryl Ann, happy
Arthur
birthday.
did some artwork for his birthday.
He
Look
did.
at that.
He did some beautiful artwork for his birthday.
Can I call him Artie?
Artie.
I like Artie.
Yeah, we call him Artie.
Artie's cool. Yeah.
And we do have a winner for our blues quiz, and it's Debbie Romanek. And Debbie, I'll contact you tomorrow, and we'll get a promo code for our new album out. And she correctly guessed that it was Lead Belly.
Right, good.
Recorded a whole pile of tunes in the 1940s. Great songs like Rock Island Line, Skip to My Lou. It's a really, really iconic children's record.
Does she win the children's record?
I don't have the children's record.
Okay. Well, she wins our.
I've listened to the children's record, but she will get our record.
Okay. It's something.
Yeah, it's something. And Taj Mahal.
Okay. Well, this one was a real favorite of ours. This is Taj Mahal, and it's not actually his birthday today. His birthday was, I believe,
Yesterday. I think it was
on Monday.
Monday.
Was it yesterday or
Monday.
Monday? I think it was on. Yeah. Anyway, Taj Mahal. He's a big favorite of ours. I think a lot of you out there love Taj Mahal. So we're going to do a very serious show actually this time. We usually goof off on vintage vinyl, and we're going to stop doing that from now on. It's going to be completely like studious and knowledgeable.
That's impossible.
So Rob is going to contribute more to these things, and we're going to get through this. This is a very important spot, and I want this to be a spot that frankly makes more money.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
It's all about money for you.
Huh?
It's all about money for you.
Rob, this life, this whole show, it costs money.
All this.
And rabbit food, like tell them about the money with the rabbit food. It's expensive. Rabbit food's thousands of dollars.
I don't think he's finding it.
We have to collect money. I also have a charity, my own charity, which I prefer to keep it private right now.
You do not have a charity.
So we're collecting some money right now. I want to start incorporating some enterprising activities like business things into this
I think
vintage
we should
vinyl
just
section.
look at
Okay.
your vinyl collection
Wow.
as usual. Okay, let's just see what's your theme.
Happy birthday, Taj Mahal.
Good, that's a good start. Good start, Paul.
Rob, tell us about the first record.
Well, first of all, Taj Mahal's turned just 79. His name is Henry Fredericks, and he picked the name Taj Mahal, because he was reading a lot about the struggles of Mahatma Gandhi when he first started as a performer, and then was very concerned about songs and issues of racial intolerance. So he picked the stage name Taj Mahal. Okay. So the first.
Okay, we got to go faster because this is like we don't have that much time.
Okay,
let me just talk first before we go into this section. So we're gonna weave through this. What is it?
What is this image all about?
It says Rob band leader, but it's a picture of a devil. It says the Water Street Blues Band, the pyramid of capitalist system. And it says pure goodness, Paul and his family. Maybe your family, but what does that mean?
Okay, you guys represent everything that's evil, as far as I'm concerned, you and Sylvia. But you're the ringleader, Rob, because you're driven by money. You were asking me about money before. I think you're the one that's driven by money. You won't let me have my space in these situations, and I need some space. I represent goodness.
Okay.
Okay, that's my okay. So I want to just put everybody through this little explanation. Let's go to the next slide, Fluffy. Okay, Fluffy and I put this together as a kind of roadmap going forward. Maybe Sylvia.
So the way our system, this is your opinion of how the system works, but
It's not just my opinion,
just
it's also Fluffy's
noticing.
opinion. And I think there's several people in the audience. Feel free to acknowledge this.
I'm just noticing that you are a chicken. That's all. I noticed you're a chicken. You're like the chickens.
Okay.
You're involved.
Does anybody understand how this work diagram works?
Because
We're like
because
breakfast.
look at we're
comparing us to breakfast.
We're the most important meal of the day. I accept that.
Yes. And I love
No.
bacon.
That's
and eggs.
us.
No,
We
no,
love
that's
bacon,
not the way it
and
works.
we love bacon. So great. That's great.
Okay. You guys, the band is like breakfast to me. Okay. It's like bacon and eggs. Okay. Let me explain this. I and my family, we contribute the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the chickens. We're involved. Okay. You and Rob, you have to be committed if this is going to
Yes.
work.
Well-
You guys are like the bacon,
Okay.
the pigs.
Okay.
Understand?
No. Well, sorry.
Not really.
I just.
Okay. Let's
I
move
don't
on.
know if
It'll
you meant
become
this
clear
as a
as we go
compliment.
forward.
Anyway. Okay.
Okay. What I'm going to be starting to
This is
introduce
not
now
an
is a new
album.
company.
This is not an album.
No,
This
we're
is
going to
a
get to the
commercial.
album soon. Be patient. Sylvia, stop it. Stop it. We've talked about this already. I have to have my space in this show as well. This is a new company. It's going to be called Paulson eventually. Right now it's Paul and Son Junk Emporium. I've rented a space in Breslau, of course.
Look at
Okay.
your.
That's a ventriloquist dummy. That's not a real boy.
I don't know if you've seen any of Paul's collections. Every single one of them.
That's my son. It's my son.
A ventriloquist dummy in every collection. And you can't even see. You don't know if the ventriloquist lips are moving because it's a record.
Okay, somebody help me out there. Who doesn't love ventriloquists? Who doesn't love
But
puppets
you're a little
general?
delusional, Paul. Do we have the first
Anyway,
record?
anyway, this is your.
Let's
where's
go
the
on.
record?
Let's go
Oh,
on to the
finally a
first record. Okay, Rob, do tell us about Taj.
So yeah, this is Taj Mahal's first record. It's a really great record. He actually produced one before this, but this was his first major record. And there's a couple of really great players on this. Jesse Davis and Ry Cooder are on this record. It was put out in 1967, and it's pretty stripped down acoustic blues with a little bit of electric blues in it. And some of the great tunes on it are Walkin' Blues and Leavin' Trunk.
All right.
Great record.
Right. And then,
Yeah, great
not
cover,
another
too.
this is not a record either. Oh my God.
Okay, so this is an opportunity. This is the first opportunity. I'm going to do one every record. This is lot number 1. Maybe Sylvia, can you tell us what this is?
Lot number 1, front seats, Astro Gray Velveteen. Will fit 1997, 1998, 1999 Dodge Caravan as pictured. Starting bid at $3,000 each. Wow.
No.
You're selling.
I prefer you buy them together. I don't mind breaking these apart. I don't mind breaking this.
Paul, this was supposed to be a tribute to Taj Mahal, and you're
Mind
selling
breaking.
to
caravan
do with
seats.
anything.
You're selling caravan seats. This is supposed to be a nice tribute to Taj Mahal.
Anyways, and starting at 3,000.
Okay, let's get the next record.
You can get a few of those. Okay, here we go.
Okay. This is Taj's second album. It's called The Natural Blues, and again, it's a mixture of acoustic and electric blues, and again, some really cool players. Al Cooper, who is Bob Dylan's keyboard player, and played on Super Session with Steve Stills, and Mike Bloomfield. He's on this record, and the big song off of this one is "Going Up to the Country."
Right, sometimes known as Mailbox Blues. And Paul, in all seriousness, you do a great version of that tune.
So
You
what's
really do.
Yeah, I love
what's
that
the
tune.
next
That's a
slide?
great tune. Colin James
When's
does
the
an
next album cover?
amazing version of that
Next
too.
album covers.
That's not an album cover.
Okay,
At least
thank
it's
you.
music this time.
It's not an
Lot number 2.
Okay.
Maybe Sylvia, you can
Well,
go through this
sure,
one too.
Paul and Son Junk Emporium offers you lot number 2. Greg 8-track stereo recorder includes red cleaning tape, 4 tapes. Okay, the red cleaning tape. Wow. Okay. Starting bid.
Okay, now that shows 6 tapes. The 2 top tapes are mine. The Super Tramp I'll throw in. No problem.
And Ron Bean has bid 200 goats for this.
So good luck. Okay, next.
You know what, Ron? You're in the right direction, buddy. You're going in the right direction.
This is a great album.
Yeah, this is a full-on electric album. It was recorded in 1968. It's called Giant Step. A great cover, and it's got, again, iconic songs. Take a Giant Step, 6 Days on the Road, and Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. It's a great record.
Really
But
cool.
he went full on electric for that. What is this?
This looks. What is? Okay.
There's a lot of renovations
This is
going
supposed
on
to be
right
about
now
Taj
with
Mahal?
COVID-19.
This is not anything.
People are bored.
I have no idea what it is. It says approximately 18 pounds of 2-inch spiral nails. Starting bid $1 each nail.
There's a shortage
Good
of
start.
the 2-inch spiral nails right
I
now.
wouldn't be surprised. Okay.
There's a shortage.
$1.
Listen,
Okay, Fluffy.
I know I'm taking a little bit of advantage
Fluffy.
of the demand
Fluffy's like,
in the market. It's not me, it's Fluffy. Fluffy believes in this lot.
Okay.
Lot number
let's-
3.
let-
Let's get your bids.
Okay, they're $1 each. Why am I?
This one I'll separate. I'll split the package.
Oh,
up.
Fluffy likes this one.
This is called The Real Thing. This is Taj Mahal's first live album. It was recorded in 1971. It was at a series of shows at the Fillmore East. And he had a pretty big band backing him up, including a couple of players from Charles Mingus's band, some horn players. And on this record, he started the whole show, and this is pretty gutsy for an electric show at the Fillmore East. Sitting down on a stool, he took out his banjo and he played a great version of Fishin' Blues.
Right.
Which is a song that Sylvia and I have done on this show before. I play my banjo and Sylvia plays accordion, but we're going to play a different song today.
Okay,
But also
but
on
we'll
this,
get to
on,
that.
also on this album is Diving Duck Blues. It's a great live album.
Aww.
And in addition to The Real Thing, I had an opportunity when Taj Mahal was at the Kitchener Blues Festival to meet the man himself. He was a wonderful performer. He put on a great performance that day. He was lovely. But you know, we were backstage and we were pointing at each other because I think we each went and we thought we each had the last spoonful of Grey Poupon, and we were trying to. Figure out who was the one who got that. Who got that?
That's a true story.
That's a true story.
Seriously.
And this next album, Senor Blues, this he won a Grammy for this record. It's a fabulous record, and for you jazz heads out there, you know that the title track, Senor Blues, was written by Horace Silver, who started the Jazz Messengers that Art Blakey eventually took over. There's fabulous tunes on this record, and we love Taj Mahal and wish him all the best and a happy birthday. 79th Taj Mahal. We love you.
Happy birthday, Taj Mahal.
Oh, great. That's great. Oh, pretty good on the album side, Paul. That was.
So, Paul, why don't you sing us a tune?
Okay, I'm going to do a Taj Mahal tune.
Okay.
I'm gonna move up to the country, baby. I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. I'm gonna move up to the country, baby. I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. I'm gonna put some flowers on it, honey. Gonna plant some training vines or two. Well, call me darling. Mama, let me take you by your hand. Well, call me darling. Mama, let me take you by your hand. You'll be my big city woman. I'll be your city boy, countryman. Well, I'm leaving the city, darling. Well, you know the smog has got me down. Well, I'm leaving the city, darling. You know the smog has got me down. I'm gonna move up to the canyon, darling, where there's no one else around. I'm gonna move up to the city, darling. I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. I'm gonna move up to the country, baby. I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. I'm gonna put some flowers on it, honey. Gonna plant some training vines or two. Gonna put some flowers on it, honey. Gonna paint some training vines or two.
All right, little bass and vocals.
Wow.
Miss Angel was giving you a big shout out during that song, Paul. So
Thanks, Miss Angel.
Hey, Miss Angel.
Wonderful to have you join us tonight again. Thank you.
we're gonna do a Lazy Lester tune, some Texas blues, and what's it called, Sylvia?
Sort of like what Luann Barton would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is Sugar Coated Love.
1, 2, 3.
On my mind, well, he's my sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. Well, he's real gone, baby, and I don't mean maybe he's mine. Well, I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about clothes. I don't worry about anything at all because he's mine. And goodness knows he's my sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. Well, he's real gone, baby, and I don't mean maybe he's mine. You choose. I'm gonna stick with this man of mine, 'cause he got something I can use, and that's a sugar-coated love. I surprise myself, sugar-coated love. Well, he's real gone, baby, and I don't mean maybe he's mine. Well, you know what sugar-coated love is, the best kind of loving they got. It's the kind of love that makes the old feel young and makes the North Pole hot. Well, that's a sugar-coated love. A sugar-coated love. Well, he's real gone, baby, and I don't mean maybe he's mine.
you. A little Luann Barton,
Paul, thank
little
you.
Texas blues. Well, thank you. Thank all of you for tuning in tonight. We are so thrilled you could join us, and we have an announcement about next week's guest.
Oh, we do.
We do. Next week's guest will be Fluffy.
Fluffy?
You need
Fluffy.
to conjure up next. Oh, there we go. We're so thrilled. We're going to have one of the world's best slide guitar players, Mark Johnson, who's a member of Delta Moon, a much loved band in our area in the KBF world. And if you don't know Delta Moon yet, you should go online and check them out. They're amazing, sort of swampy, vibey blues. And Mark's going to be coming on. He's going to talk about tone, guitars, touring, and
Atlanta.
and slides.
He's going to dial in all the way from
Atlanta.
Georgia.
Yeah, he's going to come in from Georgia.
I love slide guitar.
So we're gonna have a real good time with Mark. We're really looking forward to it. So
May
next,
26th.
mark your calendars.
I like it.
Mark your calendars.
I like it.
But it's time to pack up. I think we've gone over time.
We have.
It's
Thank you
time
for
to pack
hanging
up.
out with
Thanks
us.
for hanging out.
Good night.
And thanks to Fred.
Time's up.
Go Jets, go.
That's right. Fred had to leave. His team needed him.
Fluffy. We're the Water Street Blues Band, and you've been watching Talking About Live, coming at you every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're not sure what time it is. What time is it in Newfoundland?
And I think you add a half an hour.
And subtract a few more minutes. And
Well,
then
I use
multiply
a slide
by
rule.
2.
We use a slide rule to figure that.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Next week, our guest will be Mark Johnson, slide guitarist extraordinaire. Wonderful guy. Lots of fun, lots of stories. You'll have a good time, and we'll have a blast. Paul, did you move those seats? Did you get a bidder on those seats?
I have to go check the comments. One of you lucky guys is going to get the seats.
Good night, everybody. Thanks
Make
for
me
joining
break
us.
them.
See you next week.
Good night. Thank you
Good night,
so
John
much
Boy.
for joining us.